My name is Eddie Guevara. Again, I want to explain or I want to say some of the few things about some mail order items I come across. One of the stories I have to tell, which is very interesting, is in 1985, I decided one day that, having the idea of starting my own business and stuff, I went to the International Toy Trade Show, which was held at the Jacob Javits in New York City. I was young at the time, and walked into this huge place with, all the toys that were up from different companies, where obviously everybody had their own booth. But as I was walking down, I noticed that I see the sea monkeys. The sea monkeys are being advertised by this one, and there's a young lady sitting behind the table there, and I see an older fellow. And I said, "Hi, do you guys sell sea monkeys?" And the guy comes up and pulls me and says, "Well, my name is Harold, and I created the sea monkeys. This is one of my greatest inventions." And he goes on to tell me the story. Little did I know, I was actually talking at the time and meeting the creator of the old world famous X-ray glasses. Wow, who did not dream when they were young of getting the X-ray glasses? As us guys, we always thought that we could see beyond the bones. We wanted the fun part about it, which obviously, I thought I was going to be able to see the women. Oh, the women, that's why I got the glasses. But anyway, as the story goes, Harold went on to explain to me at the time that the way it all started is that actually he saw the SS Adams, what SS Adams had originally originated, which was called the X-ray tube, and he just repackaged the product. He took the idea of the X-ray tube and created the X-ray glasses from them. I thought that was fascinating, and what more fascinating was the fact how he was able to distribute this, how popular the X-ray glasses became in mail order and in everything. I mean, everybody had it. Every mail order company would sell it. The other thing that was interesting, he also explained how he took the original Hypno coin, the Hypno disc, and he took two of them, put them on the glasses, and just opened a little hole in each side and called them the Hypno Spex. That was another fascinating product. So you got now the Hypno disc that becomes the Hypno Spex, the X-ray tube that becomes the X-ray glasses. That's fascinating. But the most fascinating part about it is not, I think, the product themselves, but it's how they were manufactured and how they were distributed and how they were advertised. That's what really gets me going. Because just the fact that not only did I want the X-ray glasses, not only did I dream of getting sea monkeys, and of course the ads lured us into thinking that the sea monkeys were something unknown to any of us. I mean, they look like little human figures, and little did I know they were brine shrimp. As I was growing up, as a child, I remember actually going to a fish store, and I said, "Do you sell sea monkeys?" And the guy goes, "Yeah." He goes to the back and he says, "They're 50 cents. And I said, 50 cents? Wow, can I get them? So he brings out a little plastic jar, about 2 inches high or whatever, and they're filled with this thing that looked like, I guess I could compare them to a fish skeleton. The little head and two big eyes, and they swam around. And he goes to me, "They're brine shrimp. They're what you used to feed fish for. Oh, in other words, that's fish food." And I said, "What do you mean fish food? You mean to say that those are the sea monkeys that I was going to order when I was a child?" Wow. Talking about fraud, huh? Anyway, I did. I ordered them, and then I noticed in the side of the box it had an actual picture of the brine shrimp. But you know what? I still treasure those days. And no matter what and how I was ripped off or I wasn't, if those days would not have come by, my life would not be the same today. Just like when I got the monster 7-foot ghost and what happened with me and the ghost. Yeah, I expected to get, of course, like every kid, just like the Kirk Demarest video from Flip, where it shows a little kid being beat up in school, and well, that kind of happened to me. I wasn't beat up in school, but I thought that if I would send away for this 7-foot ghost, I thought it would be really unique. I thought that it was going to give me powers. I was going to have this thing, and I had a good friend of mine. Boy, was he a character. This kid was my age. Now, we're talking about 2 8-year-olds, okay? And this guy is telling me, "You're going to get this, you're going to get this." And I believed him. I believed I was going to get not a balloon and plastic. I thought I was going to get a huge 7-foot monster. But I never thought that $1 wouldn't buy it. I mean, I thought $1 was a lot of money. In fact, I remember my grandparents, my grandfather one time gave me 25 cents to buy an ice cream cone. He gave it to me in pennies, nickels, and dimes, and I couldn't believe it was so much money in a quarter. So I guess I couldn't really fathom what money really was. As a child, that's the only thing you could think of, you know. You want something and you think that's what it is, and you imagine what it is. And one of the things that got me scared about which is really unique and funny, about the Polaris nuclear sub when I was going to order it, was that, well, I was afraid of drowning. You see, I couldn't swim at the time. So I was scared of actually getting in this and drowning, because I couldn't swim. So I was skeptical about ordering it, but, you know, I decided one day, my friend says, let's order it, let's get it. So I sent away for the Polaris nuclear sub. And in my mind, I actually thought that this device was going to fit in my bathtub. Now, my bathtub is about 6 feet long, but I'm thinking a 7-foot metal sub is going to fit in my tub, and I'm thinking that I can actually walk inside it. That's how the imagination of a child is. It's unique in its way, but it's, I mean, now as an adult, when I look back and think, I go, wow, like how stupid can a kid really be, you know? But that's the way I thought. And I actually got my item, and even though it was made of cardboard and stuff, it kind of didn't really hinder my feelings. I didn't really feel ripped off like a lot of people. I see them in different blogs, and I see them in different situations. You know, they'll write a story, say, oh, I was so ripped off, and you know, they'll get this item, and you know, but in reality, you know what, I was happy with it. I kept it. I put it away to this day, and made me probably be the only one that owns one, because I've never seen one on eBay. I've had a guy actually drive, again, getting to the original, one of the questions I was asking is, how far would a person drive or go to get an item? Well, this gentleman, he's a police officer from upstate New York. I think he's a state trooper, if I'm correct, but I'm not going to, of course, divulge the name here, but let's call him Jack for a change. Well, Jack, one day, went to a convention, a monster convention in the Northeast. He apparently met Wednesday Addams, or the lady who played Wednesday Addams in the Addams Family. Well, she took a picture with him, whatever. He was so fascinated. When he heard I had the sub, he drove almost, I think, 2.5, 3 hours from upstate New York to come and see an Addams Family thing bank, which I sold him, of course, because I had several, and to actually see. Now, I mean, he came for the Addams Family, but he wanted to picture the sub that he had as a child. And he started, you know, he was going to take pictures of it and stuff. And then I started thinking to myself, I don't know if I want to really let him take pictures of the entire sub. I mean, I had other plans with the sub, such as maybe one day selling it in the mail. Why did I want to divulge? I mean, I kind of made the mistake before where I've, you know, back here I have a picture of the 7-foot Frankenstein. Actually, this is the 6-foot version in black and white, which I've reproduced for my company. But I had at one time 10 original plastic versions of the Frankenstein that were given to me by the Honor House company itself. And I also had 11 skeletons. Well, not knowing before eBay and stuff, I sold, out of the 10, I sold 9 Frankensteins and I sold 10 skeletons. Well, if you look today, and every time you look around in eBay, you see one go up for sale. Well, I guarantee you that if you track it down and you go back in the history, you'll find that they originated from me. One good thing I have to prove that is I have all the original sales that I've ever made. I kept the record of everything I ever sold. And I see that, you know, the one guy, this I found, this was an interesting story. One guy in Georgia contacted me and asked me that he had a Frankenstein that he had purchased from a guy in California. And he wanted to know what would be a proper price for him to ask. In other words, how much can he sell it for that he would not lose, but he still make a profit? I said to him, where did you get it from? Well, before long, he actually told me that he had sold the Frankenstein. He had sold the Frankenstein on eBay with a buy it now of $400. I said, how much did they give you for it? $400? I said, for a plastic Frankenstein? I couldn't believe that. That was fascinating. That was fascinating that, you know, somebody would give him $400. Well, anyway, as the story goes, that what I'm trying to say with the original story is that when I looked at the guy who had it in California, I said, that name sounds familiar. I looked at one of my things. I had sold it to him. The funny thing is, I sold it to him for $183. He sold it to this guy for $245, and then he sold it for $400. That is fascinating. And the most thing that I found really interesting about it is how much people are willing to pay for collectibles today. It's great. It's awesome, and that's another part of the story.